Well, hey there, it's Jen.
And Elke, welcome back to the Jen and Elke Show, where we love talking about print-on-demand marketing and strategy. And today's video is a biggie because we're going to talk to you about how Zazzle Collections, which is something that's very unique to Zazzle, are doubling POD profit. So there's this talk lately about Printonic being a place where POD sellers can get gift sets so that you can double your income and profit. But it's not that hard. You don't have to sign up for Printonic if you don't want to get a very specific gift set. Instead, what you can do is actually take all of your print-on-demand products that you have in your Zazzle stores, because you do have a Zazzle store, right? Because you're taking advantage of that print-on-demand platform. And all you need to do is leverage collections properly. Now, it's a big deal, and the collections training is going to be more than what we're going to give away. Like here, we're going to touch on things. But if you really want to dive in, our current Profit by Design Academy is open for enrollment until February 9th, 2026. So if you're watching this after this video, sorry. But if you're watching it before, get in, because we're going to show you even in more detail there how you can leverage Zazzle Collections to not only double your income, but triple, quadruple, 5 times, 10 times. We have proof because we have done it and our clients have done it, which is really amazing. And the Profit by Design Academy is where you start learning how to do that very clearly so that you can also do that in your print-on-demand store, specifically on Zazzle, because that's where the collections feature is. Okay, let's get into this.
Okay, so if you don't know what collections are on Zazzle, because there are two different things. There's categories and collections. And collections are not brand new anymore, but they did come out a couple years back. And then now they've actually even organized them better, because collections was just a grouping of products. And Elke created the buyer and browser versus type collections. And we spoke to our clients and our students about that in terms of how to organize collections, because you could just create a collection. It would like be creating a Pinterest board, let's call it that, where you could just put everything under the sun in one big collection if you wanted to. But now, recently, in the last couple of years, Zazzle has actually determined what type of collection you should be making and given you some guidelines on what those collections should be, because people were misusing them, right? And nobody really knew how to use them, except if you were part of our Profit by Design Academy way back when Elke and I did the training for our students, and Elke came up with this amazing idea, which was browser and buyer collections. Okay, yeah. So there's two different.
That's of course, again, pointing towards our strategy and marketing, because that's what collections are. And I'm pretty sure that because of what we did, that's why Zazzle made that distinction, so that we can use as sellers these collections even more strategically to make more sales. And it just works so well that, yeah, let's get into more of that. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's really, really important to people understand that there is this really cool tool just on the Zazzle marketplace that allows your store to create collections, but it's not a repository. We don't want to see 300 products in there, but it's very specific, a marketing tool to cross-sell or to get people. And so that's the buyer collection, the cross-selling, because they already want to buy something, and you want to get them to buy more. And then the browser collection is where they're undecided, but they do want certain specifications already, but they haven't made that final choice. And so each of those collections is serving a really important marketing purpose to get people to make a decision or add more on once they've made a decision of the first product. Now, on Etsy or Shopify, you don't have that. And same with anything where you're starting to sell gift sets. That's a specific thing that maybe you have pre-selected items that they should have together, so that you're just trying to sell more, but maybe that customer doesn't want more of what you have to offer. But here in these collections on Zazzle, what you're doing is you're offering things strategically, and they pick and choose, which is really very important. Okay, let's keep going.
So yeah, coming back to really quickly, there's two different things. So we don't want to get people confused, but categories is one thing where you're organizing everything in your back end. And then collections is where you're now showcasing things in groupings of bundles, let's call it that. And so collections can, and this is why we're bringing it back to the topic of that people are using Printonic to buy these boxes of gift sets, is that you can actually create literally like a gift set type thing in your collection so that you can maximize your sales, whether that be through, like Elke mentioned, cross-selling. So for example, if somebody's already invested in having a birthday party, for example, and they want the invitation, but now that they can have all of the decorations, or if somebody's just really in the market for a pickleball paddle, they don't know what design they want, so they are in the browser collection looking for a pickleball paddle, let's call it that. So there's different types of collections. Collections group related designs, and they're in different specifications in those related designs. And what Elke said too previously is that we don't want to see a collection with 300 products in there. And also we don't like to see collections where, for example, it's just a collection called t-shirts, because that really has, although it has the generic theme of being t-shirts, there's no association with what kind of t-shirt. Is it a themed t-shirt? Is it a humorous t-shirt? Is it a graphic design tee? So I've seen many clients of ours have these big groupings of products thinking, okay, well, I'll just throw everything all in Christmas ornaments or everything all into Christmas decorations. And it makes sense when you're doing it, but it doesn't actually make sense when it comes to the buyer's perspective and allowing them to shop easily and buy either matching products or buy groupings of products. So first one, and the reason why collections are so important, is that collections group related designs and help organize your store, as well as help making that buying journey for the customer a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
The second one here is that they encourage multiple item purchases, which we've spoken about before, where people might be invested, like I said, buying a birthday party invitation, but then all of a sudden when they come on to your invitation, they scroll down and see that it's in a collection with matching paper plates and napkins and balloons and banners. And so they end up buying all of the decorations related to the theme of the birthday party. And if you didn't have it in that collection, then they might not have seen those extra products that they could buy, or they might have gone to another designer or seller who had those items that they were looking for, and you might have lost the sales.
Yeah, and this is the big thing. Like, that almost needs to be said again, because that is one of the biggest objectives of Zazzle, is to make sure that the customer walks away with a product, but they don't really, and this is not rude, but they don't care whether it's yours or somebody else's. They want the customer to buy. And so the way collections work is to help keep your customer who initially came through to your product on your set of products. So let's just, like, even before they start purchasing multiple things, we just want to make sure that they don't go to someone else's designs after you bring them into the marketplace.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next point that we have, why collections are important, is because they increase the time spent in your store, right? And once somebody is kind of inside a collection and involved in a collection, they're browsing multiple different products of your own from your store, and it's creating more views, it's creating more clicks, and they're also just intrigued and sort of kept within your store rather than searching other people's products or other people's stores to find the products that they might be looking for. Mm-hmm. Okay. And last but not least, they create buyer momentum, which means that they are more willing to buy. And also, funny enough, too, if you have a really good customer buying experience with one of your customers, they might actually come back and buy from you again because they really enjoyed your designs and liked your products. So creating that momentum within your store is very important. And the next part here is that we like to talk about collections a lot, and we as the experts know what we're speaking about, but a lot of sellers don't actually use collections properly or don't understand how to create them, and or thinking that they are creating them in a way that is beneficial for them or as an organizer of their store, but you're not thinking about it as the customer buying experience. I mentioned that example of, a collection that's called literally just t-shirts. And it might make sense to you because all of your t-shirts are in one area, but it doesn't make sense to the buyer, because although they might be invested in buying a t-shirt, they might be looking for a very specific theme or design that's on the t-shirt. And if that t-shirt is in a collection of 300 other products that don't all go together beyond the fact that they're t-shirts, then that collection really it doesn't even work for you, right? It's not doing anything for you. And so you have to understand how and where to use the specific types of collections, whether it be a browser collection or a buyer collection, but also be very specific too, especially when it comes to the browser collections. And Zazzle has its guidelines. When you start to create collections, you can read what each collection entails, whether it is a browser or buyer one, and what the type of themes are. So you can get some more information by reading that sort of pop up when you start to create your own collections. But be very, very specific about what the collection is meant for and how it will help the customer go through their own journey, whether it's to give them more options to browse or whether it's to give them more options to buy and have those matching products associated with it. Yes.
Yeah, and also when you look at the Etsy stores, maybe some have the ability to list hundreds of thousands of products on their stores, but no one's going to look through all those products, right? And on Zazzle, your limit, and each free account, you can actually create more accounts, but 100,000 products you can put into one account across one store or many stores. And so if someone's trying to buy something from you and they like something that's in your store as a listing, it's not as easy to browse through 100,000 products to find the piece that they're looking for. They could do it with categories that are in their store that you have the ability to set up. But like I give most people a fail when it comes to the categories, because they really don't understand how to set that up either for a customer. And it's not that easy. That's why the collections are such an amazing tool to get the customers who can turn into buyers easily by just using a collection to direct their path to the products that you've listed. It also gives you that ability to broaden your specificity, so you're not just always focused on t-shirts or mugs or let's say even stationery. You can then have multiple niches that you're selling equally effectively, but each time the collection is actually drawing people into the area and with the product grouping that is going to be very specific for that customer that's coming in to look at that particular part of your store.
Yes. And so at the end, we want to have you make intentional product collections and have all of your products be intentional within those collections. And obviously, we need a little bit more of a deep dive into what that means. So that's where the Profit by Design Academy comes in to play, because we unfortunately can't tell you all the secrets in one YouTube video here, but it very much also depends too on what you're making. Each collection is created with the intention of it helping the product or the products in that collection based on the design, the type of products, who is it for, and what the need or purpose is of that whole collection. So yes, everybody always asks us that general question, like, how do I make a collection and how do I make it sell? Well, it very much depends on what's in that collection and what your niche is and who you're selling to. So, but yes, that's where the Profit by Design Academy comes in. Like Elke mentioned, we have enrollment open until February 9th, and we would love to have you in that experience with us. And starting at the beginning of that time, February 9th or 10th, we are doing our Achieve Bootcamp throughout the entire month of February, where we will be helping you make 100 intentional products in your store, walking you through them with different design themes and different collections as well, and having it all outlined for you with the collections, the categories, titles, and tags. We're going to help you with everything. It's the easiest version of our PDA, I think, and it's the best version of our PDA. Everybody absolutely loves it, and it helps you keep yourself accountable to create 100 products in your store for that first month, which we do recommend that you have each month to start selling on Zazzle and create a power selling Zazzle store. So we would love to have you in our Profit by Design Academy, and we can't wait to see you in there. Bye.
Yeah. So elkeclarke.com/start and scale. And don't forget, the reason that we're even talking about collections is because collections are taught in the Profit by Design Academy in such a way that you finally understand and use them correctly.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
start doubling and tripling and quadrupling your sales, possibly.
We'll see you in the PDA. Bye.